The Iran-Iraq War, the longest conventional conflict of the 20th century. A showdown between two neighbors, Iran and Iraq, that reshaped the future of the Middle East. This is the story of a bloody, bitter war that crossed borders, drew in world powers, and left a permanent mark on both nations. Historical background: to appreciate this conflict, we need to go back in time. For centuries, Iran, historically Persia, and Iraq, once a part of the Ottoman Empire, were divided by disputes over territory, religion, and power. The Shatt al-Arab waterway, rich in resources and strategically vital, became a persistent point of contention. In 1979, Iran's Islamic Revolution, led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, overthrew the US-backed Shah. Suddenly Iran went from a key US ally to a Shia theocracy, threatening the stability of neighboring regimes. Saddam Hussein, ruler of a predominantly Sunni, secular Ba'ath party, feared Iran's ideology might inspire Shia revolts in Iraq. Outbreak of War. On September 22, 1980, Saddam made his move. Iraqi troops crossed the Shatt al-Arab, launching a full-scale invasion of Iran. Saddam believed Iran was weak and divided after its revolution and thought a quick assault could resolve long-standing disputes in his favor. The first months saw dramatic Iraqi gains. The capture of Khorramshahr and a push toward Iran's oil-rich province of Khuzestan. Turning point: Iran's counteroffensive, but Iran was far from finished. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, alongside Iran's army and a huge force of volunteers, fought back. In Operation Bait al-Muqaddas in 1982, Iran recaptured Khorramshahr, a key turning point in the war. From this moment on, Iran shifted from defending its territory to advancing into Iraq. Stalemate. In war of attrition with Iran's advance, the conflict fell into a bloody stalemate. The years 1984 to 87 were marked by human wave attacks, poison gas, and the use of heavy artillery. Iraq, supported by Soviet, French, and Gulf states, fortified its defenses and fought back with whatever it could, including chemical attacks against soldiers and civilians. Meanwhile, Iran relied on ideology and sacrifice, sending its soldiers forward in massive human waves. A tactic that resulted in staggering losses. Missile war and air operations. As the ground war ground to a halt, a new dimension opened: the War of Cities. Iraq fired Scud-B ballistic missiles into Iran's population centers, Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, spreading fear and causing immense damage. Iran responded in kind, using its own Scuds against Baghdad and other Iraqi cities. Meanwhile, Iran's air force, grounded by a lack of spare parts and maintenance, fought a brave but uphill battle against a well-equipped Iraqi air force. Casualties, impact, and economic damage. The human cost was staggering. Some estimates put total deaths at up to 1 million, soldiers and civilians alike. Hundreds of thousands more were injured or displaced. The economic damage exceeded $500 billion, with key infrastructure, oil refineries, port facilities, agricultural land, left in ruins. The conflict drained resources from both regimes and left deep psychological scars. Endgame and Ceasefire, UN 598, by 1988, Iran was weakening. A combination of international pressure, economic exhaustion, and heavy losses forced Ayatollah Khomeini to drink the poison chalice. His dramatic description of accepting a ceasefire under United Nations Resolution 598. The Iran-Iraq War ended in a stalemate, with borders largely the same as before, a bloody conflict with no clear winner. Legacy and aftermath. The Iran-Iraq War profoundly influenced both countries' futures. For Iran, it fostered a policy of self-reliance, developing its own arms industry and ballistic missile programs to avoid vulnerability in future wars. For Saddam, the financial crisis and political pressures from the war paved the way for his invasion of Kuwait in 1990, triggering the Gulf War. The legacy of this conflict can be felt today in Iran's defensive strategies, in its regional ambitions, and in the political upheavals that followed in the Middle East. Conclusion: the Iran-Iraq War was more than just a conflict over borders. It was a showdown of ideology, power, and survival, a war that reshaped the Middle East. Today, decades later, the decisions made, the sacrifices made, and the lessons learned from that bloody conflict continue to affect the politics and policies of Iran, Iraq, and the entire region. This is a story not just of soldiers and generals, but of ordinary people whose lives were forever changed by a war nobody truly won. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay safe and we'll see you in the next video.